Hi, English learners. Today we're going to look at this book, 400 Must-Have Words for the TOEFL. Now, I know this is TOEFL, but really this is just a great vocabulary book, okay? So if you're doing TOEFL, TOEIC, or the SAT, or any of the other big tests, this book can help you with the vocabulary, okay? And you don't need to buy it. We can just talk about it, so make sure you understand. Now, if you want to get a review sheet, you can get the review sheet from the bottom, okay, from the description box. And if you need any help, please, you can leave your comments too, okay? And I will try to help you with the test. Okay, so this video is going to have two parts. The first, we're going to talk about pronunciation. Okay, I want to teach you how to pronounce these words well. And there's some tricky words, okay? And the second part, we're going to discuss their meaning, okay? So, first of all, let's look at the words. Abandon. Abandon. Number two, adversely. Okay, make sure you have the V sound. Your lip should be shaking, okay? So adversely, adversely. Number three, aggregate. Now, aggregate's a noun. If you want the verb, you have to say aggregate, okay? Aggregate, noun. Aggregate is the verb. Cultivation, cultivation, okay? 4 syllables. Cultivation. Cultivation. Fertilize. Fertilize. Make sure you have the Z or Z sound, okay? Fertilize. Number 6. Intensify. Intensify. Number 7. Irrigation. Irrigation. Number 8. Obtain. Obtain. Number 9. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. And number 10, precipitation. Precipitation. Okay, so we're halfway there, but let's do a quick review. Pronunciation: abandon, adversely, aggregate, cultivation, fertilize, intensify, irrigation, obtain, photosynthesis, and precipitation. Okay, so let's look at the second part. Okay? Chapter 2, number 1, anticipate. Anticipate. Number 2, catastrophic. Catastrophic. Number 3, collide. Collide. Number 4, eruption. Okay, there's a T, but make sure your pronunciation is good. Eruption. Number 5, famine. Famine. Number 6, flood. Flood. Number 7, impact. Impact. Number 8, persevere. Persevere. Number 9, plunge. Plunge. And number 10, unleash. Unleash. Okay? So, quickly, anticipate, catastrophic, collide, eruption, famine, flood, impact, persevere, plunge, and unleash. Okay? Okay, great. Now, let's go to the discussion of these words, okay? Number 1 is abandon. Abandon means you leave something behind. Maybe you don't want it anymore. Maybe you don't need it, okay? So if I'm walking in the desert and it's hot, I'm hot, maybe my jacket, I'll take it off and I will abandon my jacket, okay? Sometimes you hear stories of people who have children, but they don't want the children. Maybe their life is too difficult. And they knock on a door, and they ring the bell, ding dong, and they put the baby there, and then they run. Okay? They abandon their baby. Okay? Now the noun is abandonment. Abandonment. Okay? Number 2, adversely. Adversely. Now the ly here, right there, should tell you that it's an adverb. Okay? It's an adverb. The meaning of adversely really is negatively. Negatively. Okay? So maybe I heard some news. Maybe someone told me some news, and it was really bad news. And then, oh, and we'll say the news affected Daryl adversely. Okay? Or you can say the news really affected Daryl adversely. It means negatively. Okay? It was terrible news. Yeah, adversely means negatively. It affects you really badly. Or you can say the the typhoon. Maybe the typhoon hits Tokyo. And we'll say the typhoon affected Tokyo adversely. It would mean like their economy went down, 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 okay? Aggregate. Number 3, aggregate. That's the noun, okay? The aggregate. Now, aggregate means the total of the totals. So if you have maybe a business and you have salesmen, okay? And the salesmen are selling markers, the Sharpie, okay? They're selling markers door to door, and they knock. And one salesman sells 100, and another salesman is a really good one. He sells 150 in one day, okay? All of the salesmen together, you take 100 plus 150 plus this person's 50, and you put them together, and that's the aggregate, okay? It's the total of the totals. Now, aggregate is the noun, aggregate is the verb, okay? So we aggregated the sum, okay, the total. Cultivation. Cultivation, this is the first word that's kind of really farm word, okay? This chapter is about food. And cultivation, it's what farmers do to the field, okay, to get the fields ready. So usually the farmers will cultivate their fields in the springtime, okay? So they get rid of the rocks, they get rid of the weeds and stuff like that. Maybe they will fertilize the soil, the dirt, okay? So they make everything ready for the plants, okay? Number 6, intensify. Intensify means make stronger or more power, okay? So maybe you're listening to the radio and they say, today when you go to the beach, put on the sunblocks, okay? The sun will intensify all day until 4 o'clock. And it means the sun will be stronger and stronger until 4 o'clock, okay? Now, maybe you're going to study this book, and when you get to chapter 40, you're going to do the TOEFL test, okay? Or the TOEIC test. In this case, you can intensify your work, okay? The closer and closer and closer you are for the test, you have to intensify your work. Maybe you just do 1 hour a day, 1 hour, and then all of a sudden you start doing 2 hours, and oh no, the test is in 1 month, and you start doing 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day. You're intensifying your work, okay? Intensifying. And the noun is intensification, okay? The shun tells you it's a noun. Irrigation means water. Give water to, it doesn't mean water, but it means you're watering the field, okay? So if you have a farm near a river, then the farmer has to get water from the river and put all the water onto his land. This is called irrigation. And big farmers will have hoses and they'll be spraying the water. This is all about irrigation, okay? If you grow rice, irrigation is really important because you have to have water moving all the time, okay? So this is irrigation. You can also have a verb here, irrigate, okay? We say the farmer irrigated his field all day, okay? It means water, maybe a really hot day. Obtain means get. Okay. Now, this is going to be for a difficult get, okay? So if you know the word acquire, it has a similar meaning to acquire, okay? So if I go to the store, and I get some milk, and I come home, and then my wife will ask me, what did you get? And I'll say, milk. But my wife will never say, what did you acquire? Or what did you obtain, okay? Because this is going to be something difficult, okay? So obtain will be something that you worked for a long time, something that you really needed to find or needed to go to many places, okay? So if you obtain something, it's going to need a lot of work. You can obtain a university degree. Now here, if you want the TOEFL perfect score, 120, it'll take a long time to obtain. Maybe you have to study for a couple of years, okay? But you want to obtain it. Nobody will take that test and get 120 on the first test, okay? Because you really have to work hard, okay? So obtain. Photosynthesis. Okay, this is a science word. Photosynthesis. The photo part here means light, okay? Synthesis here means there's going to be some action about changing something, okay? So photosynthesis here means light will be changing. Now, what can light change into? Light can change into sugar for plants, okay? Green plants will be in the sunlight, And the sun will go on the leaves and make sugar for the plants, okay? And this is called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. It's really cool, but that's how we get all our food. All of our food comes from sunlight, okay? So photosynthesis is very important. It's a hard word. Photosynthesis. Precipitation. It's a big word. You'll see it in newspapers and on the news. Precipitation means rain or snow or hail, okay? Precipitation means anything falling from the sky, okay? So rain, snow, and hail, okay? Sometimes on the Weather Channel, if you watch the weather, they'll talk about percentage of precipitation, and they'll say 100%. Bring your umbrella. 100% precipitation today, okay? 100% chance, okay? Okay, one more time. Abandon, adversely, aggregate, cultivation, fertilize, intensify, irrigation, obtain, photosynthesis, and precipitation. Okay, so another 5 minutes and we'll finish chapter 2, okay? Number 1 is anticipate. Anticipate. It means you're waiting for something, but you're really waiting for it, okay? When I was a little boy, I was always going to wait for Christmas, okay? And then I'd be like, oh, 20 days, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. And then it'd be 15 days, and I'd be more excited. And 10 more days, I'd be more excited. I'm anticipating Christmas, okay? It means you're really waiting for something. Now, if you write this test, or TOEFL test, or SAT test, any vocabulary test, any test of English, maybe you finish writing and now you have to wait for a week, okay? You're anticipating your score. And hopefully it's a good one, okay? Anticipate. And the noun, again, will be anticipation, okay? Anticipation. So like cultivation is a noun, okay? Fertilization is a noun. Irrigation is a noun. Anticipation, that's a noun, okay? Catastrophic. Oh, this is an adjective, okay? So we'll say very catastrophic or really catastrophic, okay? It means a disaster, something really terrible. We'll say the typhoon was catastrophic, okay? It's a catastrophe. In this case, the noun is catastrophe, okay? Catastrophic. Now, if you need 90, good universities usually need 90 or 95 on the TOEFL. And you're like, oh, I got to get 90. But the day before you didn't sleep and the test was so difficult and they talked about things and you didn't know them. And your score is not 90, your score is 40. You'll say that's very catastrophic, okay? Oh, what a catastrophe. Like this. Okay, sometimes we use this to describe dates. Oh, my date was catastrophic. That girl and I did not agree on anything. We'll say it's very catastrophic. Or a job interview can be very catastrophic. Collide. I saw this today. Okay, a collision. It means two things hit each other. And I saw two cars hit each other today, okay? It was okay. I went to try to help them, but everyone was okay. But the cars were really hurt, really damaged, okay? But they collided. Okay? I've also seen two skiers, two people skiing, and one person looking this way, and one person looking this way. And the two skiers, and they fell down, okay? They collided. It was a very serious collision. In that case, we had to get an ambulance, okay? So it's collide. Okay? Sometimes a big rock from space will hit Earth. It collides with Earth, okay? Eruption. Okay, this is a noun again. The verb is erupt. Erupt. Okay, erupt. Okay, that's a verb. We use this for volcanoes. Okay, the volcano erupted. Okay, Krakatoa or Pompeii, like all these famous volcanoes. Okay, they erupted. They have an eruption. But maybe at work, you work at McDonald's and you come late every day, and then on Friday the boss. We say the boss erupted at me. Was very, very angry with me, okay? Eruption. Famine, number 5. Famine is a noun. This is a time when a whole country doesn't have food, okay? So many years ago, North Korea had a famine. If you're even older, before that, Ethiopia had a famine. Okay, this is the time when almost the whole country is hungry and other countries should help, okay? Famine. Now, this is a very terrible thing. We do use the word famished a lot, okay? So here it just means hungry, okay? So maybe if I have 5 hours no food, I'll be like, ooh, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Hungry is here, okay? Maybe if I have 10 hours no food, I will say, I'm starving. Starving. Okay? If I have 1 day no food, I'll say, I'm famished. Famished. Okay? It means very, very hungry. So hungry, starving, famished. 3 levels. Okay? So if you're famished, you got to find food quickly. Okay? Flood. Flood. Flood can be when there's too much water. Okay, when the water goes up, 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 and it starts to go into the houses, that's a flood. Flood. It can be a verb and a noun. No change, okay? Flood. You can use it as a verb with emotions. Maybe you see someone at the airport, you go to the airport, and there's somebody there, you haven't seen that person in 10 years. You're like, oh! And you say you're flooded with emotion, okay? Remember, in here, number 2, adversely, I said the news affected me adversely. Maybe I'll be flooded with emotion, but here it'll be a bad thing. Okay, I'll be like, flooded with emotion. Okay, but you can also say there's a flood in the country. Okay, or a flood in a city. Okay, maybe 10 years ago, New Orleans had a really bad flood. Okay, impact. Okay, this means effect. It had an effect on somebody. It impacted him. Okay, it can be a verb and a noun. So maybe you heard a speech from Nelson Mandela, or maybe you heard a speech from John F. Kennedy, and then you were impacted. Okay, so often it'll be was impacted, were impacted. See, Daryl was impacted by Martin Luther King's speech. Okay, so impacted. Susan was impacted adversely by her aunt's death. Okay, adversely impacted. Okay, so impacted. Often we'll do was and were impacted with ed. Okay, a passive sentence. Persevere. Persevere means you don't give up. Okay, so if you write this test and you get 40, I'll be like, don't quit. Persevere. Persevere. It means keep going, okay? One time on the Olympics, I saw a guy running the marathon, and he still had maybe 5 more kilometers. And he was like, oh, no more running. And then his friend came and helped him run a little bit more, and then they finished the marathon. They persevered. Okay, he persevered. So it means you continue even though you want to quit, okay? You need to persevere because we only have 2 more words, okay? Plunge. Plunge can be a verb and a noun. It means go down fast, okay? We can say the airplane plunged from the sky. Maybe shooting. One airplane shoots another airplane. Say it plunged from the sky, okay? Some birds, when they see a fish, they'll be like, oh, there's a fish. And they'll get the fish, okay? Plunged. Now, maybe if you have money, and then you have very bad, something happens in your country, maybe your money compared to America money will plunge. The money will go down, okay? And then the last word here is unleash. It's a verb, okay? First of all, what is leash? Leash. Leash is around a dog. They have a collar. This is my collar. And a dog will have a collar, and then they have a string. A leash, okay? So maybe if you're walking your dog, you hold the leash and the dog is walking with you. That's a leash, okay? Unleash means you give freedom to something, okay? So you go to the park and the dog wants to run. Maybe there's other dogs there. So you will unleash your dog, okay? But we do talk about unleash in another way, okay? So you can unleash your emotions as well, okay? Maybe your work is really difficult, a lot of stress and stuff like that. And so you go on vacation, go to Mexico, and you will unleash your emotions, okay? And you'll party and you'll dance and all that kind of stuff. This is unleashing your emotions. It means you give your emotions freedom, okay? Okay. Anyways, this video is 20 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Look for chapters 3 and 4. Okay? Take care. Bye-bye. If you have questions, please comment below. Bye-bye.